natural rivalry has built up over the years over everything. Food, language. They say Doug's. How is Doug's even a thing? And so much more. But we wanted to find what area is superior, so we brought in the very funny Todd Fleming, who grew up between the two cities, to discuss. People always say that the DMV doesn't have, it's full of transplants and everybody comes in from the outside. People like you. Should we wear T-shirts that just says I'm from the area, UREA?
Yeah.
We need something.
Is it UHREA or
oh yeah?
UR? Okay, I always throw an H in there. I'm not sure if it's correct or not, but that's how I do it.
Well, well, you're the teacher. We need to get together and figure out what the spelling of this is. We figured out that Maryland is the Murrland. We got Maryland.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We need to figure out area. We need to figure out Virginia. I think there should be a Y in there. With the way that we do
I
it.
Agree.
DC, just you can. There's not a whole lot you can do with DC. DC is just going to be DC.
DC.
Anything else pronunciation wise? Ambulance.
Ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zinc. You know what? Because see, I grew up kind of like right between Baltimore and Washington, well, DC. So I mix up my slang sometimes.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't be out here talking about a Doug, man.
Doug. Yeah, two, Doug, Fred. And I always get caught in New Balance debates that I don't really want to be in.
This has to be the hardest year in the history of Baltimore for them to be able to pronounce. 2022. I gotta love it. All right, well, here's a question for somebody that's between Baltimore and DC. Who owns crab cakes? The wharf is trying to come for Baltimore. Baltimore's like, we not having it, bro.
Yeah. I was just down at the wharf a little while ago. I went to see when Chappelle was in town. I went to the show down there, and but to me, that's a Baltimore thing. I feel like Baltimore they got the edge on the crab cakes.
Better comedy audience, DC or Baltimore?
It depends on what you're trying to do. So
I'm trying not to get jumped. I'm trying to get home safely.
Okay. If you don't want to get jumped, DC, you have to be PC. Mm-hmm. And Baltimore is you can be as crass as you want. But if you're on the outskirts and you get too political, you might have some trouble.
I got you. So Baltimore really wants to divide. And they really want to separate themselves from DC by not having anything political in their comedy circles.
Right. And in DC, if you say the wrong thing, you get the moans and the groans. Whereas in Baltimore, you can pretty much say anything about anybody's mom, anybody. It doesn't matter. They're laughing. I would liken it to when you go to a Nationals game versus going to an Orioles game, where you go to, it's like Nationals games. A lot of people have really high government jobs and stuff, so they're very, they clap. In Baltimore, people are spilling beer on each other, and it's just a different feel.
You know what? I have to clean something up because I thought that was the first time I had ever heard the word zinc used in a conversation I've ever had in my entire life. He actually was referring to a sink because that is how Baltimore people actually pronounce the word sink, like they're talking about something on the periodic table. It's wild. If you want to hear more from Todd, he is part of a political impersonation group called The Constituents. They just killed it at the DC Improv. You can follow them on Instagram at ConstituentsDC to hear about their next upcoming shows. Coming up on Open Mic.